I'm Caden, here with my brother,
Cal,
and you're listening to Eating W's.
eat the W.
That's a W. Let's eat one. Let's eat one. That's a W.
So, on today's episode of Eating W's, we did get Callan to come back.
I went to a Brooklyn Nets game, and that got over, and didn't really have anything else to do, so I decided to come back.
Thank God.
I forgot why I was even mad.
That was a pretty close call there. I mean, I almost had to cut him from the podcast. So
Well, that'll
luckily that
happen,
didn't happen,
You lose your temper like that, I just, what other cliches can I use? Let my emotions get the best of me, and, gotta do better than that. Gotta be better.
Yep.
Gotta be more prepared. Need
But
to get myself a trainer.
We are now back for the final preview of the NFL regular season this year. It's
Regular
crazy
season finale. It's
we
been
made it all the way here.
18 weeks. Crazy.
It's insane,
It doesn't
man.
seem. It seems like just yesterday we were
The season.
we were getting stomped out by the Saints.
The season just flew through this year. But before we get into the final preview, we will do a final quick check-in before the final scores on our NFL head-to-head pick-up between Callan and I. And man, am I choking this season away like none other. I had like a 16-point lead at one point. But last week, I only dropped 8, and Callan had an amazing week and dropped 13, putting us at a total score of me with 146 and Callan with 145. So the buffer has whisked away, and now I'm only up by 1 point. So it's pretty much even ground going
Good
into the
weekend
last
for me
game.
all around, betting and football wise.
So this is big for our pick'em game, and it is an entertaining week.
Basically coming down the last week.
That's exactly
a 1
what
point
it
lead
is.
it's a lead, but it's
With the way I've been picking recently,
small one.
It's pretty much even ground. So we will jump right into those picks.
Oh, you gotta get rid of that also.
Oh yeah,
That's not yours anymore.
my mom won the fantasy league. So.
Yep, you're no longer the champion. We're gonna have to get you a new koozie. That
Goodbye,
one's hers
koozie.
now.
Now I just get this.
You just have a naked water bottle.
After my fantasy performance this year, all I earned
All
is a
you
naked water
deserve is a
bottle.
naked
So-
water bottle.
First up, we got the Chiefs heading to Denver to take on the Broncos, and Cal and I both have the Chiefs. Too loud. Stop it.
Okay, I was
Too
just trying
loud.
to make it naked.
Cal and I both have the Chiefs in this one.
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs should easily walk their way to the number 1 seed, right? I mean, as far as I know, Denver's still missing a ton of players. They're gonna get some of them back, but
Not all of them.
Not all of them. And Denver's eliminated. They're not fighting for anything anymore. It's probably Drew Lock at quarterback. The Chiefs should easily walk right into the number 1 seed.
Oh, God, I'm going to laugh my ass off if Drew Lock comes out here and picks
Or
up a
Drew
win.
Lock will have the game of his life and upset the Chiefs.
It would be so funny. But let's be honest, it's pretty obvious here. The Chiefs are going to pick up the win. They're going to lock in the number 1 seed again.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. So next up, we have a game that should be a little bit more exciting with the Cowboys heading to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. And I was kind of surprised when I saw yours. Cal and I both have the Eagles in this one. I really think the Eagles got a chance. I mean, I think the Cowboys are definitely the favorites, but the Eagles have been playing hard. They have clinched a playoff berth, but I think they can jump up to the 6th seed instead of the 7th seed, or lock it in rather, with the win here against the Cowboys. It's in Philly. The Cowboys have been beating them a lot recently. This is their chance to kind of beat up on their big brother. They're going to come out and play, man. Like, why wouldn't they? I don't know who they're going to start. I'm interested to see if they start Hurts or Minshew with the fact that they already have the playoff berth.
Yeah,
But to
because
be
the
honest,
only thing they could be is a 6 or the 7.
with either of those guys starting, I still like their odds of going to their home stadium and picking up a win.
I was wrong. Philadelphia is permanently the 6th seed.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, because if San Francisco gets in, they beat San Francisco. If the Saints get in, they have a better record than the Saints.
Oh, well, then I could
they
easily see them
can't
starting
go
Minshew,
They
but
can't get any better or worse.
to be honest, I still like their odds starting Minshew because I don't think the Cowboys are going to start all their starters either.
Well,
so.
they can start Hurts. They're playing in Philly, not Washington. So Hurts has nothing to worry about.
Nothing's going to fall on them.
Nothing's going to fall on him. No, I think that Philly, whether it's the Mississippi Mud Flap or Jalen Hurts, I just think that they are getting hot right now. They're just a team that's hot at the right time. They're on a roll. Things are clicking for them. And it seems to be the opposite for Dallas. These teams are going in two different directions. Dallas has lost a couple in a row. They've looked incompetent, especially on the coaching side, by using all of your timeouts immediately. You find out you need those to end the game.
Timeouts are helpful.
They are very helpful. They matter with your challenges also, which is a very important part of the game also. But so because of that, like I said, with them going two different directions, I'm going with the team that's going up instead of down.
We'll see if the Eagles can step up. Next up, we got so I almost said another divisional matchup. Something kind of cool about the new Week 18 divisional matchups across the board. So that's
cool
they
all are divisional.
That's cool. So next up, we got the Bengals heading to Cleveland and take on the Browns. And again, Cal and I agree. We both have the Bengals in this one. Like I said with last week, I still really like Baker. He's a competitor, or last episode rather, but the Bengals just got too much firepower.
And they're Baker's sitting. They've already shut him down for the season now.
That's good.
It'll be the Case Keenum led Browns, which
that Keenum Stefanski connection.
Yeah,
kind of scary.
And hey, they could still go out there and win. And one thing about it, you're starting a backup quarterback. He's not gonna feel like, this is just the last game of the year. He's gonna look at it as, all right, here's my shot. Here's my chance to show that maybe I can earn myself a starting gig next year. Look at Matt Flynn. He earned himself a 3-year multi-million-dollar contract with one game. One game got him in that, and he threw 6 touchdowns. So I think that at least he'll be fired up to play. So I could see the Browns pulling this out, but I think it's more than likely that the Bengals just overpower them.
I totally
Especially if
agree.
you just keep throwing it up to Jamar Chase.
That's all you got to do. I think this will be a surprisingly close game, but I think the Bengals come out on top.
I see it being closer than people think.
Next up, we got the Steelers heading to Baltimore to take on the Ravens for what is most likely going to be Big Ben's last game as a Steeler, so that's pretty cool. But for the first time this episode, we disagree. Callan has the Steelers as his lock in this one, but I actually picked the Ravens. The Ravens have just been in too many close games to not pick up a win one of these times eventually. And I mean, what a better time for them to go out and pick a win than to spoil their division rivals' playoff chances.
Not only the playoff chances, but possibly his last game.
Big Ben's last game.
Actually, and it's because of that I went with the Steelers as the lock. Because I think the Steelers are going to try to do everything they can to help Big Ben get to the playoffs one more time. And I know it's kind of out of their hands. They need some other teams to win.
Pretty unlikely.
Right, but it is unlikely, but they have to do their part first. No matter what, they have to do their part. And I see them at the very least doing their part for Ben to just give him a glimmer of hope.
Yeah, this one was really toss-up to me. I struggled to pick this one because exactly what you just said. I looked at both sides of the argument and saw things on both sides to pick them. For me, it really just came down to being in Baltimore. The Ravens play pretty well at home, so... Next up, we got the Packers heading to Detroit to take on the Lions. And in an ironic, shocking twist, I have the Packers.
What a twist!
And Callan has the Lions. I mean,
not only do I have the Lions, I have them as my underdog upset special of the week. It is going to be the Tim Boyle Laser Show versus Jordan Love. And I'm picking the Tim Boyle Laser Show. It's going to be the battle of former Packer backup quarterbacks.
Man, it was all I could do to not pick the Lions in this one, but I picked the Packers for the sole reason, not because I think the Packers B squad is going to come out and be anything special. In fact, the little bit I've seen of Jordan Love, I don't like him at all. I think he looks really bad. But the Lions are just the Lions, man.
It looks like they're
find
still
a way.
Lions.
So
MCDC's giving them all that energy, and they still just can't do anything with it. I don't know. But I do see them getting up for this game, and it maybe being the catalyst to turning around and having a positive season next year.
yeah,
If they can build off of a strong win against Green Bay, whether it's the B team or not, they're going to be excited to beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
Everybody always is.
Don't get me wrong. I think the Lions' time is coming, but it's just not yet.
No.
Next up, we got the Colts heading to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. Cal and I both have the Colts in this one, and I have them marked as my lock. there's just not much to say. The Colts are going to win this one. The only reason I didn't quick kick this one is because the Colts can still be eliminated, and the Steelers need this game. This is the big thing they need to make their playoff.
They got to have the
hopes,
Jaguars beat the Colts, which is very unlikely, unfortunately. But maybe Trevor Lawrence has the game of his career so far and upsets them. And if that happens, Indy is out, and Pittsburgh is possibly in.
Yeah.
So that would be quite a switch, because then it would be, you'd be almost in that whole Ray Lewis, Jerome Bettis thing where, are they going to go on that run because the player's retiring? Well, be interesting to see if they could get it going if they get in.
It will be interesting to see, but I'm pretty sure we already know what we're going to see with the Colts-Jags game. So
I got JT running for 300.
More than likely. Next up, we got the Bears heading to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. And this is actually, we both have the Vikings in this one because might as well just finish out picking them. But this is actually our London game of the week for the sole reason that you have two teams here with possible franchise quarterbacks for the next decade, and Justin Field being a first rounder and Kellen Mond being a very early third rounder.
Not only early, picked before Run DM3.
Picked before Run DM3. And you're going to see neither of them. Because, why not get another look at Sean Mannion instead of our rookie quarterback?
You just don't know what you got with...
Sean Mannion might really turn it around 12 years into his career.
He's not that old. He was drafted in 18.
Mannion was?
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of then? Wow.
I don't know.
He was only drafted in 18?
Yeah, he's not that old.
News to me.
That was his first touchdown pass.
So I must have someone else in my head. I must be mixed up on that. I did not know that. But still, I just don't get it because we have given Mannion chances. He's gotten a few starts. He got a start back in 2019. He got a few preseason starts with the Seahawks, I believe, this year. So why not put your rookie in there? Why not see Kellen Mond? I mean, they're just...
Well, because Zimmer sees him every day in practice.
He sees him every day in practice. Zimmer has been giving weird, encrypted talk messages about Mond all week in press conferences. I just don't get it. I mean, this is our last home game of the season, and you're just not giving fans anything to come watch. I mean, who's going to travel from Chicago to come see the Bears or justify going to the Minneapolis games to go watch Sean Mannion play again and watch this defensive battle that's going to end up being like a 10-13 game? I don't get it. I don't know why Zimmer's doing it. When all the first controversy first started with Zimmer, I was on his side. I thought there was a lot of other factors going around it. But each week, I get a little more skeptical of him. Last week,
is he trying to get out?
It kind of seems like it.
It almost seems like he's trying, like he doesn't want to quit.
75 to 80% of the fan base is begging you to start Mond, and he's just being so stubborn and saying that he's going to start Mannion in these press conferences.
I still think he should have kept Nate Stanley, but
I don't know. I think the Vikings
long gone.
I think the Vikings probably do come out on top. We're at home. The Bears aren't a very good team either. They're eliminated too. But it's going to be a shit show of a game. So.
It sure is. And that's why we're sending that one across the pond.
That's why it's
without Mr. Mond.
I just want to see Kellen Mond play. I got to see one drive in which we ran the ball twice for 1 yard and then had an incompletion against the Packers. So
yep, this game is just going to be played for fun.
Huh?
Fun. Played for fun, but
you're matching
trying
to
force it, yeah.
Like the joke, but there's going to be nothing fun about this game.
Yo.
Moving on. Next up, we got another shit show of a game, but a shit show in the way of domination. We got the Titans going to Houston to take on the Texans. Cal and I both have the Titans.
Are we sure about this? Because earlier this year, Houston went into Tennessee and beat the Titans.
I forgot that did happen. I just don't see that happening again.
But I don't see that happening twice. Especially, I'm sure Tennessee's just been watching that game all week.
I still really like DM3. I think DM3 comes out and has a good game, but I just don't think they have enough on that team to match up.
They said that DM3 is going to probably be the starter next year.
I hope so. That'd be awesome.
Deshaun's got to be sent somewhere.
God. You trade Watson to I don't know, wherever, but
Anywhere.
my guess is
you're
like
gonna
Miami.
you're going to get a draft haul of picks and or players.
You're going to get at least 2 first-rounders or a starter, and then probably some second and third round and lower-level guys or lower-level
role
guys
players,
thrown in
yeah.
there, too. Give Davis Mills a chance. I mean, look at the team he's had this year. He's practically got practice squad
He's
guys
got the-
aside from Brandon Cooks.
He's got the pedigree. He comes from a really good college. Stanford and David Shaw have been a prestigious program for a long time now. And hey, look at the quarterbacks Stanford has kicked out. They've kicked out starting quarterbacks, including superstars like John Elway and Andrew Luck.
Say Andrew Luck was touted as one of the best quarterbacks
Right.
of
So,
this generation.
There's
So,
something that they got going on up there in Stanford where they can kick some quarterbacks to the NFL.
they're just smart guys. That's the
And
big
they're
thing.
really
They
smart
are
guys.
Smart,
That's
smart
too.
guys.
And that's what they say in the NFL. To be in the NFL, you have to be really smart
I think the Texans
or really dumb.
yeah. I think the Texans are in a very similar situation to the Lions, so I'll kind of repeat myself and say I think their time is coming. It's just hasn't been this year. So, next up, we got the Saints heading to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Kellen has the Saints in this one, and I actually have the Falcons as an upset. The Saints, the only reason I didn't quick kick this game is because Kellen didn't realize, I just barely realized, I think a lot of people don't realize, the Saints still have pretty decent playoff chances. I mean, the Saints win this game and see a 50-50 game in the 49ers-Rams game with a Niners loss and a Saints win. They're the 7th seed all of a sudden. So it's kind of crazy that they're even in that situation. But I think this is going to make Atlanta want to beat them even more. They're coming into Atlanta. Atlanta has had a pretty overall disappointing season, in my opinion. They're facing...
they're not talking about it enough. Matt Ryan's probably gone after this year.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Because they're probably going to draft a future quarterback, or sign a free agent. Matt Ryan, I don't know. No one's given any thoughts to Matt Ryan that
I can see
he's probably going to be a free agent this year.
I think maybe one more year for Ryan, but I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Only because this year's quarterback class is very weak.
Yeah.
So I could see one more year with Matt Ryan in the hopes that, former MVP. I mean, he's got the talent.
Good, yeah.
So maybe that comes back, and if not, yeah, you get a high draft pick with a better quarterback class. Maybe then.
But like I was saying, Atlanta's looking at this very beat-up Saints team coming into their home stadium. I like the chances of them
And
pulling
Atlanta
off the
playing
upset
the
here.
spoiler, it's enticing to them. I think with the Saints trying to get into the playoffs, they're just going to have more fight. Atlanta's looking forward to the next day's tee time out on the golf course.
Pretty much.
So I think New Orleans will be more focused and pick up the victory. With them still fighting for the playoffs.
Wow, that sun is shining
I see
straight
that
through
glare.
onto me. That is going to be awful to deal with in editing, but we'll see how much I can get it down.
We'll see what we can do.
My God. But next up, we got
a ray of sunshine over you.
For real.
Literally.
We got the Chargers heading to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders in another split. I have the Chargers in this one, and Kellen has the Raiders.
Yeah, I think that the Raiders are going to get in the playoffs. I think that they're going to defy all these odds and get into the playoffs with Richie Beyonce, the special teams master. I forgot how to say his name. We looked it up once, and
It's Beyonce now.
It's just I went back to calling him Beyonce, and yeah. But hey, good for him. With all the trouble the Raiders have been through, some of it brought on by themselves, some of it brought on by the players. He's not done anything wrong. He's tried to just, lead this team through the controversy, through the fog, and look, he might come out on the other end with a playoff spot. And that's just for not only for that guy who's been a long-time special teams coordinator, but for the Raiders in general, that's pretty cool. With Madden going down, I just feel like it's too storybook or too. I almost want to say too good to be true, but not too good to be true. But
because it's actually going to happen. Yeah,
like the fairy tale ending.
I get what you're saying. They're going to get the
where they went through all these trials and tribulations, and they're going to come out with a successful season still.
Yeah. No, I think you hit it.
And probably make Biaggi think that's it. Make Biaggi their permanent head coach.
I think you
If
hit
he
it
makes the
perfectly.
playoffs.
I agree with that. That's a good possibility. With all the controversy they've had this season, mad respect to them from me just for even having a chance to make it. But I think the Chargers are just the better team here. I think the Chargers might already have a spot wrapped up. I'm not sure where they stand.
Nope. It's a win and in for both
Oh, it's
of
a
them.
win and in for both of them.
Yep.
So that actually makes it really entertaining.
It's the last game of the year. It's a Sunday night game.
The Chargers, they're the Vikings of the AFC. I've heard it my whole life, and I really saw it this year. So it'd be very poetic for them to lose this game and get kicked out of the playoffs. But I don't know. I think they have that, what I just said exactly, in the back of their heads. And they're going to want this win more than anything. Herbert is way too good of a quarterback. He's had way too good of a first 2 seasons to not to even have a playoff chance. I just like the Chargers winning this one. It's really a toss-up. It's a tough
It's
one.
going to be a fun game to watch.
I usually go for the home game.
That's for sure.
I usually go for the home team in toss-ups, but I just like the Chargers in this one. They're a hell of a team. They really are. So now we'll move on to our quick kicks. We got a lot of them this week because of all the teams who are knocked out. First up, we have the Washington football team heading to New York to take on the Giants, and Cal and I both have the football team in this one. Quick note before we start talking about the game. They announced today, the football team did, that they will announce their new mascot, logo, and name on February 2nd.
They said so there were 4 or 5 options. There's 2 they said that it's not. It won't be the Red Hawks or the Red Wolves because of copyright infringements from other teams, another team, and not just football. I mean, that goes
Just
all the way
everything.
through, like, independent baseball. Like, so I get why it's hard to find a team name. So that'll be interesting to see. I really hope they don't stick with football team.
Is that an option?
It is an option.
I don't hate it, but I think
don't
they should
hate
pick
it, but
something else.
I just think they should pick something else. I don't necessarily hate it, but it's just every other team's gonna be, the Packers, the Eagles, the Vikings, and then you're gonna have the football teams. It's like, let's get something. I don't know.
My only
Can't they
thing...
be like a Redskin or something? Or,
They should be the Redskins.
Oh wait,
That's
no.
a hell of an
That's
idea.
it. That's a really good name.
They should be
Why haven't anyone thought of that?
They should be the Washington Indians. Wouldn't that...
Hey, it's not Cleveland's name anymore. It wouldn't be a copyright.
Exactly. Wouldn't that be an absolute shocker if they came
Oh my God, that'd be
It would be
hilarious. That'd be
outrageous.
I might be a Washington fan if they did that because it'd be the best troll job I've ever seen.
So the only thing I'm annoyed about is now we're just going to have to stumble over their names even more. Now we're going to have to be like, next up, the Washington Redskins. I mean, football team. I mean, it's just going to be...
Whatever they're gonna be.
It's going to be a complete cluster, but as for current times, they got the Giants, and I say I say it every week. I'm going to give this as pretty much my only reason, or 2 reasons. Taylor Heineke has too much heart to lose all these divisional games, and the Giants have no offense.
No,
that's all I got to say.
The Giants are in disarray. They're
Yeah.
turning on Joe Judge. Jake Fromm starting, which I think Fromm's talented, but I think he's in a bad situation.
Very.
He needs to be in a better situation to really grow. So unless he's able to go and just have an outstanding game, Washington should have this in hand pretty easily with Heineke and that defense.
Very much. So next up, we got the Seahawks heading to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. I have the Cardinals in this one. Callan has the Seahawks. You have the Seahawks? Did I put that in wrong?
Nope, I have the Seahawks.
Oh.
The NFC West is the Big Ten. They just beat the shit out of each other. And that's what's going to happen here, I feel like, is that the 2 lower tier teams are going to beat the top teams in the NFC West. Because NFC West beats each other more often than any other divisional teams. Like a lot of these, like the Steelers are like 31-3 against the Browns. Packers are like 21-4 against the Bears. This Roethlisberger and Rodgers.
Yeah.
And then when you look at the NFC West, none of those guys have records like that. All of them are like, like 4-4 or 2-2 or 6-7. Like all of them are like that. So they just constantly beat each other up. So I see the lower tier teams getting the last lap of the season
Interesting.
because it doesn't really affect the winning team, so I don't think that they'll put up that
no,
much of a
not
fight.
overly. It's more of just a seed thing for the
Or the higher
Rams
team,
and Cardinals
the higher
at this
tier
point.
team, not the winning.
Or a division winning thing, yeah. But I like that. I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
But even with hearing all that, it hasn't really changed my mind. It's in Arizona. The Cardinals are fighting to win the NFC West. I think they're going to come out and just dominate this poor, inconsistent Seahawks team.
Unless they
It's
can
just
put
too much power.
play the same game they played last week. Which
Yeah, I guess-
put together a complete game for the first time this season
This,
and looked pretty
I
good.
guess the Seahawks beat the Lions and the Cardinals didn't, so
Yeah.
you got to factor that in.
Yep, that's true.
But next up, jumping back over to the AFC, we got the Jets heading to Buffalo to take on the Bills, and Cal and I both have the Bills in this one. Jets played much better than I expected last week, and Zach Wilson over these past 3 or 4 weeks has played very well. He's kind of been the guy that everyone thought he was going to be when the Jets took the risk on him at
He has played
second
much
overall. Doesn't change anything in my heart, though. I think the Bills still pick up a pretty easy win here, especially with it being in Buffalo with those fans.
Yeah, and Buffalo, I think if they win, gets the AFC East, so they are still
I believe
playing
so, yes.
for something very important to them because they don't want to go to New England. Even though New England beat them in Buffalo, I'm telling you would rather have games in Buffalo than New England.
Definitely.
And yeah, like you said, Vic Wilson, he made Antonio Brown rage quit last week. That's how good he played. And then the Bucks still beat him. So I think that I'm gonna steal a saying from a good friend of mine. The Jets' time is coming. It's just not this year.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Damn it. I was literally gonna be like, I'll say it one last time. No, I think the Bills got this one handily though.
Yes.
Next up, we got the Panthers heading to Tampa Bay to take the Bucks, and I have the Bucks in this one. And Callan's going real aggressive in this last week here. He has the Panthers.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I picked the Panthers. I think I was just trying to make up points because I didn't know where I was at, and I was like, "What's one?" Okay, there's one that we probably won't both pick the Panthers. So I probably made that pick based more off of our game than anything. I guess if Sam Darnold starts and looks like the Sam Darnold of the beginning of the season, they got a good shot. Tampa also did not look that great against the Jets, and possibly there could be some tension after the whole Antonio Brown thing. So I'm curious to see if any of that gets in the way and distracts them at all. And that's, I think, kind of what I was banking on a little bit. Now that I say that, when I think about it, that's what I was thinking about. It was the Antonio Brown thing and it causing tension and
I definitely like
losing
that.
focus.
Those are all great points, and I don't even know how many starters are going to be starting
or
for
that
the Bucks.
too.
I don't know how that's going to work
any
out.
of them are even going to play.
But man, in Tampa Bay, the Panthers have just seemed to be in shambles recently. Cannot get it together. I think this ends up being a pretty close game because of Tampa's situation, and I don't know who's starting, but I think the Bucks still just come out on top because the Panthers, man, are rough. Next up, we got the Pats heading to Miami to take on the Dolphins in what I think might be one of the best matchups this week. This is going to be a fun game to watch. I have the Dolphins in this one, and Callan has the Pats. Now, the Dolphins, I know I just said it last week that they ran into a good team in the Titans, and I think the Pats are overall a pretty good team at this point too, especially when it comes to coaching and stuff. Mm-hmm. But the Dolphins know that they're going to get that mantra now. They went on that 7-game winning streak and then face a good team and get blown out by over 30 points. They're not going to want that mantra around them, and if I'm not mistaken, they're kind of like the Steelers where it's low odds, but they're still fighting for a playoff spot. So I like the Dolphins coming out and battling in Miami.
Miami got eliminated.
Oh, did they?
Yep.
Still.
So they're not.
Screw with the Patriots.
But, yeah, they could mess up. They could cause the Patriots to not win the East. The Patriots win the East with a win and a Buffalo loss. Also, Miami beat New England week 1. So they're going for the series sweep, which I don't think they've done in a long time. So that's something. Hey, those little things to build on for next season. It's for coaches. That's a good little accolade to have. Have winning records against your rivals. That's a big thing. I see the Dolphins coming out and putting up a fight. I think they're one team that will continue to fight, and especially with the Patriots fighting for that AFC East, this is going to be one of the few very entertaining games this week.
Definitely agree. And then finally, another pretty entertaining game for our quick kicks is the 49ers heading to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. I have the Rams in this one. Kellen has the Niners. Now, this is, I think it's Rams are ahead in the NFC East right now. West, not East.
Yep.
NFC West right now. So if Rams and Cardinals both win, they get it.
Rams win it.
The only way the Rams can lose the West right now is by the Cardinals picking up a win and the Rams losing. So they're not going to want to lose.
Which could happen because San Francisco, fighting for a playoff spot,
exactly
will want to win. They need to win.
I don't think the Rams are going to pull any of their starters. They're going to want that spot.
And they want the West.
I know it's just for seeding, but they want the division title. I think the Rams come out full force. It's in Los Angeles. The game between these two always seem to be a toss-up. Mm-hmm. These teams, the Niners seem to have the Rams number no matter how beat up or how bad the teams are respectively. But I just like the Rams picking up a win here. I got a feeling about that one.
I just think that with the Niners fighting for that playoff spot, I mean, both of them are fighting for things, but when you're fighting for a playoff spot, you're in desperation.
Yeah.
Fighting for a playoff spot and fighting for a division title are different things. And though I think they both want it, I just think the Niners will want it a little bit more because they know that if they lose, they're going home.
Lance or Garoppolo?
Trey Lance.
I think Lance, yep.
He has he's basically the same injury that Russell Wilson had, but it's on the thumb instead of the finger. So,
okay. Well, those are our Week 18 picks. Thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, don't forget
to eat the W's.